If you possess a unique strength, it must be used for good. From the chapter The Doors of Perception. GWSN with weird quote.
Did they invent their own Bible or something like that?
I don't know. I don't remember what the quote was from the first music video, but I remember I used it for the podcast. And so I used this one because I don't know what the Doors of Perception are, but they're quoting it in their music video.
They're giving Luna a run for their money with like the weirdness of their like weird broken English.
Yep. What's up, everyone? It's Nate from Truly Daebak with another episode of the DaebakCast. This is episode 113. And as you can see, Jacob is once again not with us. He was supposed to be on this episode, but he's still having trouble figuring out a good way to record while he's in Korea. Because he has like 5 roommates, and so it's loud in his dorm, and they party till 5 in the morning. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you study abroad in Seoul. I understand. I was there too. But as always, I'm joined by Andrew, who usually has 3 things.
Number 1, this is a very weird thing of mine. Are you familiar with a rapper named Lil Uzi Vert by any chance?
No, never heard of that name.
Okay, ever. So supposedly, Lil Uzi Vert, like kind of a big name over the past couple of years, supposedly is a big fan of GFriend. Like he went on, I'm playing a video right now of he's on Instagram Live just like going on like a non-stop rant about like he doesn't care if everyone thinks that they're plastic or they're fake or it's too girly. He's like K-pop. Apparently he has like a GFriend tattoo somewhere as well. Like, so he is 100% confirmed buddy status. Lil Uzi Vert. That is incredible.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, it's crazy. Like the amount of people that actually find that are like hardcore like hip hop rappers that are like secret K-pop stans. Because friggin' Tekashi 6ix9ine, like he's in jail. Oh, he's going to jail. But apparently he knows what K-pop is because he tried to steal a beat from like YG or some type of like something like from YG. I remember it was involved. Yeah, so a lot of like hardcore hip hop rappers know about K-pop, despite not appearing to even know anything about something like that. So just a very interesting sort of tidbit to start off with. Number 2, last week I went through the fight of my life just to secure our tickets to the Studio Ghibli Museum in Tokyo. They were pretty hard to get, but it's gonna be really worth it. I know Umu's probably gonna want us to bring something back because her whole life revolves around Studio Ghibli, so I'm super excited.
Okay, I need to cut you off. I'm looking at this guy's Wikipedia page, and apparently he's a Satanist.
Wait, what?
Woods has been accused of being a Satanist, originally by battle rapper Daylight, who claimed that Woods worshipped Satan. Woods has been said to be inspired by Marilyn Manson's worship and support of Satan, who he called his biggest inspiration. In July 2018, Woods told a crowd of fans that they were going to hell with him.
What the hell?
So he's a Satanist buddy.
He's a Satanist buddy. That is...
Yes.
That is incredible. Like I don't know what spurred on him like ranting about like GFriend and K-pop. It's like the randomest thing. Everyone in like the live chat are just like, what is he even talking about? I don't know, but I mean,
okay, sorry to cut you off, but
that's hilarious. That is hilarious. That is
a Satanist buddy in the world.
Oh boy. Imagine freaking GFriend goes to like South by Southwest or something and he's at the same venue and he's just like in the front, like straight up like light stick and everything.
Apparently his company took his Instagram access away because he promoted Satanism too much on his social media.
Well, at least he's promoting K-pop instead of Satanism now. I mean, like that's an improvement, you have to say. Anyway, so we're going to the Studio Ghibli Museum. I just YOLO bought like all of the Blu-rays because I haven't watched a Ghibli movie in like a decade.
I already had all the Blu-rays, but I've never watched any of them.
Oh my god.
So I need to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in order.
Yeah, I plan on to.
And number 3, arguably the most important news of the week, KCON New York is now in July, the weekend, July 4th weekend of 6th and 7th, in Madison Square Garden and at Javits Center. So, number 1, this is in New York City. Like, actual KCON New York is actually taking place in New York. Like, for once.
So now we can't complain every time they say, "What's up, New York?"
Oh, God.
It'll be true now.
Yeah, it'll be true. So, this is a big step up for KCON. Them being able to secure the garden means there must be some big people coming. Like, you don't get a garden date unless you have big artists coming. Because, I mean, if they're just going to get new... I mean, we'll go deeper into it once we do our usual KCON predictions episode. But there has to be someone big coming if they secured... because there hasn't been a Madison Square Garden K-pop concert since SM Town in 2011. Like, almost... That's like close to 8 years ago. So,
yeah,
like, this is big news. We'll see how it ends up. By how it being in July, there's a chance that Jacob could go now, because before, if it was like the last week of June, he wouldn't have been able to go. The thing is, though, it's just going to be a pain in the ass for everyone to travel, because it's July 4th weekend. So, literally, everyone's going to... You already bought your ticket, right? Or you already got your ticket?
Yeah, and I got my flight, and it was pretty similar price because I booked it so early, probably.
Yeah, that's the thing. So if you're planning on coming to KCON, I mean, we're all going to be there, or I'm going to be there at least. Nate will as well. Definitely book early. Hopefully you can get tickets 1, 2, 5 to... We're actually going to try and get a panel. I'm actually pretty serious about maybe we can get a panel for maybe something like for a Produce X 101, because we do Produce Cast. Maybe we can do something related to that, or maybe we can do like a DaebakCast live sort of thing. Maybe just try to make it appeal to people who don't necessarily listen to the podcast, just a general topic sort of thing. So if you're excited about that, if you want us to do a panel, just let us know your ideas. We're definitely open to suggestions. Maybe once we can get into contact with whoever we have to get into contact with, because all our friends are like, oh, we know how to, or they're all going to be on panels and everything. We just have to figure out how to get one of our own. So hopefully, I'm really crossing my fingers. I think that'd be huge for us if we can get a KCON panel.
Yeah.
That's our 3 things. Minor note just to add. I mean, I'm probably gonna play a pre thing in front of this, but the Truly Daebak server is doing its first annual NCAA March Madness bracket group tournament thing. So they just literally, we're recording this on Sunday, they just announced the 68 teams that are gonna be in the tournament. So I think we're doing K-pop Idol March Madness, so I thought we might as well just do like basketball March Madness. So if you're interested in joining, please join our Discord if you're not already a member. It's mucho lit. The password for the group will be in the Discord, so you can enter and pick out whoever you think's gonna win. I mean, you don't have to know anything about basketball. Literally, like, you know what the odds are of predicting a perfect bracket in the NCAA tournament? 1 in 9.
It's like lottery.
1 in 9.2 quintillion. Like, there's nothing there's like no like actual like thing that exists that's quintillion. So like literally you could just my dad just flips a coin every year. You could just like pick which mascot's cuter or something like that. Like, all of it works. All of it you can probably do better than me. So I'll leave all of that in the description below. Again, join our Discord to get the password to be able to enter the group, and good luck, because I'm probably not going to do that well. Jacob did better than me last year.
Did he?
Yeah, no, he predicted like there was never a 16 seed that beat a 1 seed, and freaking lo and behold, Jacob's the one. He picks where he got that pick and like literally ruined everyone else's brackets. So what do I know? What do I know?
Yeah. Okay. And as always, if you like the podcast, like, subscribe, share, review us on iTunes. Join the Discord, of course. That's where you can hang out with us, talk with us, hang out with an awesome group of people, and do crazy stuff like song ratings and idol visual March Madness brackets.
And begging bots
stuff
to give us money.
Yes, also playing weird games on bots and trying to steal money from people. And
why did you try to steal money from me?
I don't know. Egg kept stealing from me, and I kept stealing from him, and it kept failing, and I had to pay money every time I fail at stealing. And he kept succeeding at stealing from me. It wasn't fair.
Oh,
he has the most money on the server. Why? It's not fair.
Okay.
So
I'll have to figure
I
that out.
tried stealing from you instead, and it failed.
I don't have enough money or something. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, you need 500 coins. But okay, let's move on to topic 1, which is Epikai's Sleepless in blank review.
Sleepless in underscore.
Yes, it's like 10 underscores.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how many underscores it is, but I believe that's how you would say it.
Yes. So yeah, we got a new mini album or EP from Epik, which is why Jacob was supposed to be on this episode. Obviously, he's the biggest Epik fan around
in the world,
and he doesn't have Blow Note on him. I can guarantee it.
I have Blow Note on me.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to the first track, which is Sleepless. And I thought this was a really cool, like, melancholy instrumental intro. I like the mix of like the melancholy instruments and then the computer generated voice, just talking about like loneliness and being depressed and sleepless. But I thought it was like really good dichotomy between like having the very mellow instrumentals and then the computer voice. Like it's kind of the opposite of that type of thing. But yeah, this just really hits the feeling it's going for.
This is probably my favorite track on the album. Like, it's as stupid as it sounds. Mostly just because, like, Epik has spoken at length about the artists that they were inspired by, both domestically and like for like American artists, that sort of thing. And one of their biggest inspirations has been A Tribe Called Quest. And this intro is one of the most overt like tributes to A Tribe Called Quest. In the early 90s, they put out an album called Midnight Marauders, where pretty much almost every one of the tracks had a robot like voice speaking like this, like doing like the intro to like the album, explaining the concept of the album, that sort of thing. So like I like A Tribe Called Quest is pretty much like the group that got me into hip hop. So to see this type of influence on it won me over immediately. Also, just again, like the sort of theming and the sort of nature of this intro track, there's almost sort of, again, you kind of touched on it, sort of the irony of like the melancholiness of the song, whereas a robot, something like fully devoid of the concept of emotion or like human emotions, is speaking about like loneliness and being sleepless, that sort of thing. So yeah, again, there's a bit of irony in the way that they approach this intro track, where it's full of emotion, yet the monologue is being delivered by something that's completely devoid of emotion. So just sort of the irony between that was incredible.
Yeah. Jacob's notes were, and just as a warning, Jacob has a lot of notes for Epik.
Oh, of course. Jacob's going to speak more than all of us.
Yeah. He said this is a perfect intro for the album. The robotic voice speaks to you in a way that's very sentimental and almost haunting, like some sort of post-apocalyptic AI computer speaking into the nothingness of the wasteland of the earth. He got very poetic with this one. I think that sort of visual I think that sort of visual I got perfectly fits with this album, as it really reflects what one feels when they have all these things swirling around them in their heads, preventing them from sleeping. I love the theme of the album. Sleeplessness is one of the most relatable topics that I feel that like isn't super obvious to cover, and I'm glad Epik has gone there.
Mm-hmm. And like, in all honesty, I can't make it through this track without crying. It's like, oh fuck, or just like this into the next one, especially. So we can go into that.
Yep. Next is In Soul featuring Sunwoo Jung-ah. And for this, I thought it had a like fantastic instrumental intro. Like the beat's really great, and then it has like the glitchy, slower, melancholy instruments which match with Sleepless. I think Mithra and Tableau still have like the perfect tone and flow. Like this is the exact type of hip hop I like listening to, which is why Epik is one of my favorites. And I think they killed it on this song and the whole album, as always. And I really like Sunwoo Jung-ah's tone. It's really interesting and like very mature.
Yeah.
And there's like a little chiptune synth line that accompanies her parts that like really stood out to me. And then also at the end, there's a fantastic string part that accompanies her ad libs. That part definitely stood out to me as well.
Yeah, just speaking on that sort of like synth line that accompanies Sunwoo Jung-ah parts, it's like this really like intricate sort of electric sounding like triplet like sort of arpeggio going up. I just thought it was such an interesting mix of basically you've got this like really like old school like boom bat lo-fi hip hop type beat, and you're mixing this like straight up like early 2010s instrumentation type of thing with that synth triplet. It's kind of like the stuff that like Kanye was doing in like the 2010s when he made like 808s and Heartbreaks, or some of the stuff that leaked into the Watch the Throne album he did with Jay-Z, like that type of like I thought that was such an interesting sort of dichotomy between the instrumentation in that sort of way. Again, touching on theming and everything, you've got Sleepless and In Seoul, and just the entire title of Sleepless and Seoul in itself is a double entendre, where literally you're sleepless in the city of Seoul, or it's also meaning like your soul, or like being like restless. The concept of having a restless soul and that sort of thing. Yeah, I feel like Sunwoo Jung-ah was the perfect choice for the hook on this song. Just her voice is incredibly haunting. I'm not really as familiar with her work outside of, I know she had like she worked with like IU or something like that. Okay. And she wrote my favorite 21 ballad, It Hurts Slow. So she definitely got that like emo thing going for her. So yeah, just perfect choice of vocalist for this track. And in all honesty, I could say this without a doubt now, having listened to this album repeatedly over the past week or so. This combination of Sleepless and In Seoul, I feel, would have made for a way more impactful single than Lovedrunk, in all honesty. I mean, I'll get into like maybe like my issues with Lovedrunk, but I feel like just this was, I felt like they should have just gone with this, because it was the most impactful combination of songs in the entire album, and I felt like it would have made such a good music video. I mean, they wouldn't even have had to change much, in all honesty. But I mean, we'll get to that when I speak about Lovedrunk, I guess.
Yeah. Jacob said, the intro leads seamlessly into the opening instrumental of the song, which again cleanly transitions into a really nice percussive hip-hop beat, which is something that is definitely familiar for Epik fans, and is what I was expecting coming into this album. Sunwoo Jung-ah's vocals are amazing on this track. They really fit the tone of the song really well. Really great, and I'm curious to check out her other work. The lyrics deal with the general theme of sleeplessness due to the overwhelming thoughts put upon us by society and our will to succeed to meet those expectations.
God damn it, Jacob, stop making us look stupid.
Well, it's because he actually looked up the lyrics, because it's Epik. That's like the only thing he looks up lyrics for.
I don't. Which
makes sense, because Tableau.
Yeah, I don't really look up much of his lyrics, but I can definitely you don't need to understand the Korean to sort of gauge meaning, at least when it comes to Tableau. That's a specialty.
Yeah. Well, and I know, you were talking about how like it matches like Sleepless in Seoul, like as the double entendre or whatever, the double meaning. But I think in the song is where he says he feels like he's back in Map the Soul era.
Map the Soul era. Oh, beautiful throwback.
It's
this is the kind of stuff.
This does fit that type of music.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that he did, just
hip hop,
emo, like just like lo-fi type stuff. Like, it definitely feels like a throwback to that. So,
that was almost my English lyrics, but I had to go with weird GWSN Bible verse. Okay. Next is Lovedrunk featuring Crush, which is the single of the album. And for me, Crush is just the king of features. He's on everything, and I think he's fantastic. I thought there was a great opening with him in the piano. And then I really like the mix between like his soft singing and harmonies, and then Tableau's like angry rapping. Like that worked really well. It was it's funny because they're definitely inspired by Epik, but it reminded me of like the Stray Kids stuff with like Changbin doing angry rapping, and then like some of the singing being a lot more. I swear,
if Chang
like voices,
if Changbin isn't on like a Born Hater Part 3, I will be incensed.
Yeah, now that they're not under YG, they could have a.
Yeah, they could
also,
put anyone.
Actually,
Simon D.
I forgot about this.
They weren't even not everyone that was on Born Hater was even under YG or anything. So
yeah, but wasn't Suga on this album? But where I don't understand. Like I remember them talking about him.
Next song.
Did he just help? It's produce. Next song. Okay, yeah. It's just because he produced that. Okay, because I was gonna say he didn't feature. Like they didn't actually mention his name anywhere, so I wasn't sure where he ended up being. Okay. But yeah, for the song, like I said, the mix was great. I think string and piano based like pop and hip hop I've talked about a lot has always been like my favorite types of songs. And this is like a perfect example of it. Mm-hmm. And then for the music video, it's really aesthetic. But why is IU doing martial arts with magical powers?
I don't know.
Confused.
It
looks really pretty, but it was very confusing.
Yeah. So yeah, it's IU and Jin Soyeon, who is I believe an actress, doing like kung fu shit. Like that's all I can explain.
Yeah, basically.
And I guess that might be one of my first issues. Not IU and Jin Soyeon, but I'd say like the actual music video, like the mixing of it, where literally I couldn't even hear the song because like the little whoosh 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 of them doing like kung fu shit was like I could barely hear the song. So I feel like that was an oversight on their part, if anything. Like if you're listening to this album for the first time, I suggest actually going to listen to Lovedrunk, like the song first before you go watch the music, because the music video is great. Like I enjoy the music video, but yeah, it's hard to hear the song or hard to contextualize it in terms of the music video, because all you're going to be hearing is just like awesome kung fu noises basically the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I did. I listened to the album on Spotify and then I went back and watched a music video.
Yeah. I'm in a weird spot with this song because I mentioned before I felt like Sleepless in Seoul would have been a better single. Maybe just because I feel like with this, because I'm probably one of the biggest Crush fans out of all of us, and maybe in that case that where my expectations might have been a bit too high for a friggin' Epik and Crush collaboration, where it kind of just it kind of felt like it hit par, if that makes any sense. Like it like I feel it didn't blow me away necessarily. It just feels like a Crush song, and that's not necessarily, that's never a bad thing in all honesty. It's just I felt like they could have brought something, or maybe I was expecting a lot more from a collaboration this significant or incredible between two like artists that I've been really big fans of for the longest time now, especially Crush. So I mean, yeah, this is it's your pretty standard Crush feature where he almost does like 80% of the song in all honesty. But I mean, that's Crush. I like that part about Crush where he definitely does steal the show on a lot of the songs despite being a feature. I mean, it's still an enjoyable song. Again, I'm not hating on it too much. It's just, yeah, I mean,
your expectations were really
high. Yeah, your expectations were a bit high, and I feel like I still, even if I enjoyed it more, I still feel like Sleepless, the combination of Sleepless and Soul would have just been a better representation of the album, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's ultimately how I felt about it.
Mm-hmm. Jacob said, as previously with his feature on the last album, Crush's vocals on the hook really pair well with Tablo's rap. The presence of strings and pianos is something that I always love to hear on Epik tracks. There isn't nearly as much as there should be present in modern hip-hop these days, which I agree with. Mm-hmm. Not only does Epik please me with their rap and lyrics, but on a production level as well. The songs sound as beautiful as even some of the best ballads. The lyrics of the song reflect another element that contributes to the sleeplessness, and it's the experience of, as the title suggests, being love drunk. It deals with themes of trying to forgive and forget someone the speaker was once in love with.
Yeah, and apparently that's like the whole relation to like the, I don't know, kung fu. Like they're literally fighting over like the relationship or something. I don't know.
Like IU walked into her house and there was like a dead bird and like freaked out, and then they started fighting, and then IU kills her and then starts getting drunk, and It was weird. But
dang,
whatever.
I was like,
go
straight
watch
up,
it.
Yeah, go watch it. Like she's straight up like Bruce Lee, like the tabi shoes and everything. Like it's really cool.
Traditional martial artist outfits. Yep. Next we have Eternal Sunshine.
Of the Spotless Mind?
Not quite. And like Andrew said, so this is the one that was produced by Suga from BTS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For me, the funk beat to the song is just fantastic. It stood out instantly, and I loved it. And I really like. So this actually like credit to Suga because I think the production of the song is really cool.
One of his best.
I really love the layered vocals and like different volumes they use throughout the song. It gives the impression that there's more members of Epik High when there's only two of them.
Two of them, yeah.
Because there's like 2 or 3 different tabla parts being layered and throughout the song, and like 2 or 3 Mithra parts. So like it was a really cool production and definitely stood out to me.
Yeah, that's another thing I had to just note is just Suga is like, he's not just a name, he's an actual good producer. Hopefully this time he won't be barred from collaborating with Epik High because of stupid dating scandal. That's why he can't work with Suran anymore, is because everyone I was like, oh my god, he's dating Suran, how dare you, sort of like nonsense like that. So hopefully she'll work with her again, but I mean this stuff is just, you definitely tell that like with some of like the outro tracks that BTS does, or like some like the hip hop, like old school hip hop style tracks that BTS does, you could tell that all of them like looked up to Epik High, and it's awesome to see Suga like just do this perfectly. He knows how to tailor production for whatever artist he's working for, whether it be himself, whether it be Sudan, whether it be Epik High in this case. Obviously, I'm a huge sucker for anything that it's literally like the opening sound effect of this. It's literally someone dropping a cassette tape into like the player and everything, and like you hear like the sort of like wind up lo-fi type of thing. I love how they bring that pitched up voice back towards the end of the song. I hate when they like only just leave that for the intro and they never bring it back, but that's a cool sort of detail. Also, probably my favorite Mithra verse on the entire album on this. He killed it, in all honesty. So
Yeah, I agree. Jacob said, I really love the way the track transitions from its initial lo-fi vibe into the normal high-fidelity audio quality that's consistent through the rest of the track. The production as well as rap style really reminds me of a track you'd find on Epik High records from 10 plus years ago, and I really think that's the biggest charm of this song for me. The title is a reference to a really great film, which you made a joke about, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I recommend if you haven't seen it. The lyrics continue the common themes of insomnia and anxiety.
And I mean, I think that's
I've never actually seen that movie.
Yeah, so. I watched my sister and her boyfriend watch it, but I mean, I don't understand it entirely. I was in the same room as them while they were watching it on like
really
the TV.
I wasn't.
All I know is it's just like an emo Jim Carrey movie. It's about like erasing not that one. I'm thinking of. No, that is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Yeah, where you're just literally erasing people from your memories and that sort of thing, like some really creepy dystopian shit. But and just to touch up on another thing, like Jacob like noted like about how it sounds like stuff that Epik High was putting out like 10 plus years ago. I think that's just another one of Epik High's just selling points and charms, is that they're timeless. Essentially, they're timeless. Like the music that they make now is as relevant and as modern sounding as it was just like back then. So that's just another just attribution to how great this group is.
Yeah. Next we have No Different featuring Yuna, not SNSD Yuna,
not an SSD's Yuna,
or FF Final Fantasy X's Yuna, even though it's spelled the same. I thought like at the beginning there was a great use of the bass drum to mirror heartbeat. That was really cool. And then I really like the minimalist instrumentals and the use of Yuna singing more as an instrument by like modifying it and adding like that Doppler effect. They like use like before when she's not even singing, like while they're rapping, she's still there as part of the instrumentals almost.
Yeah.
And I thought her voice was fantastic. It fits really well in this type of song. And like Crushes, it contrasts with Epik High's rapping style like perfectly. So yeah, the song was really, really good.
For those of you that don't know Yuna. God, when did she first break out? Like 2010, 2011? I first heard of Yuna's music when I went to MTV Iggy for 21. So yeah, MTV had this whole thing where they're like, oh, it's showcasing international musicians and that sort of thing. I believe, if I remember correctly, she's from Malaysia. She wears like a headdress sort of thing. Yeah, so she, like, the first second I heard her, I was in love with her voice. Like, the first thing I heard from her was a cover of Come As You Are by Nirvana. Just like this, and she completely changed the song entirely. It was incredible. Like, I've been a big fan of her music before I even just like got serious about K-pop. So to see her sort of like come full circle and do a collaboration with someone as big as Epik High, this is probably, it's a front runner for one of my favorite collabs of the entire year. In all honesty, I'm just super happy to see Yuna getting this sort of recognition, and she completely steals the show with this hook. Like, again, I'm glad that, I hope more people look into her music, because she's done. Her career path has just been insane, just like blowing up. Like, her first American song was she produced by Pharrell. She's done stuff with like Usher.
Yeah, it's that her debut was with Usher.
Yeah, just like all these like really big name artists. She's worked with like Jhené Aiko, like just really big names. And Epik High is just getting added to that incredibly prestigious list. Again, and before I completely forget about like the Epik High element of this, friggin' Tablo, again, his lyrics are just a masterclass. Literally, just gonna quote it straight up. He's like, "I might not be the one. Could you settle for half?" Just like even stupid like like quips like that are just like, it's so Tablo. It fits the song. 100%. It fits a song so perfectly. Like only he knows how to do this kind of stuff. So this is a front runner for my favorite of the album tracks. Like it's a perfect collaboration for me.
Jacob said, I absolutely love this song. I think it's my favorite on the album. Maybe it's because of the fact that it's in my native language that I can connect to it so well, but I feel like Tablo's lyrical genius is especially evident in songs like these. Simple lyrics that still have several layers to them. The first few times you listen, you unravel more and more within the meaning of the song, even though the gist of it is obvious. Yuna's vocals really shine especially. She has so much soul and passion in her voice. After listening to the song, I went and checked out her solo stuff, which I'd actually recommend you check out.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I second that, definitely. Go check out all of her albums, which is great.
Yeah. Next, we have Rain Again Tomorrow. And this is definitely getting into more modern Epik High, as opposed to the rest of the album was more like their old school stuff. Like the glitchy vocals as instruments gives this song more of like an indie pop vibe than like a hip hop song. It's like much more experimental poppy than the rest of the songs on the album. But I like it for that. I like their experimental side too. As much as I love their original style and their like more emo hip hop, like I like when they do mix it up with things like this. And as usual, their rapping's fantastic too, so.
Again, Tablo, the master lyricist, literally saying freaking beats to relax and study to.
Yeah.
You know what that is, right? The chill beats to relax and study to YouTube thing. Yeah, basically just making references to that. So that literally made me laugh the first time I heard it. So it's definitely a different sort of style compared to everything else on this. At first I didn't like it as much just because I felt the chorus just was a tad repetitive, but I completely forgave it for the way it transitioned into the next song, which we'll get to. But I mean, yeah, that's definitely the redeeming element of it. Just like, again, that it's a perfect transition between this and the last song, much in the same way that Sleepless and In Soul had excellent transitions between one another.
Mm-hmm. Jacob said, in contrast with Eternal Sunshine, the song reminded me more of Epik High's more recent sound. This track would feel right at home on We've Done Something Wonderful, which is one of their best albums to date. The beat gives me similar vibes to Bleed, which was the standout track of the album for me. The laid-back rap style in the song was really effective as well. And finally, we have Lullaby for a Cat, and like you mentioned, it continues the end of the last song, becomes the beginning of the song, and this is more of an outro. And it just leads into a short rap with a really, really amazing string solo.
It's so good.
It was fantastic. A great way to end the album.
So literally whenever I go into Epic High albums, like, I guess again, they're probably one of the few groups that still understand or utilize the concept of an album where you're supposed to listen to it in its entirety, as opposed to just a smattering of singles and B-sides sort of things. And just the way that these Rain Again Tomorrow and Lullaby for a Cat bookend the way that they open with Sleepless and In Soul, it's perfect. And Lullaby for a Cat is got that same lo-fi type of thing that Sleepless has. You touched on that string instrumental. Again, just gotta add that piano part to it as well. Just overall, just a great way to end. It's literally straight up sounds like a lullaby. So hopefully Tavo can finally go to sleep now. Jesus Christ, if he hasn't slept, he hasn't slept working on this. How's he supposed to go on tour? Just it was a perfect way to end this album, honestly. And just the way if you listen to it on loop, just the way that it perfectly loops right back into Sleepless is just, again, they just put so much thought into arrangement, into just like how everything flows into one another, and it's unmatched. It's unmatched in Korean music in my eyes.
And so we will get, and Jacob's notes. Sorry. He said the chill vibe of the song is a perfect closer to this amazing album. It's the kind of music you could study or sleep to, which I think is really fitting on an album where the main theme is that of being sleepless. On a side note, people on Twitter have been playing this song to their cats, and they are actually being put to sleep by it.
Hey.
Tavo's mind was blown.
That's funny.
Okay. So we'll get to ratings. And for me, I gave it a 10 out of 10. I thought every song on the album was fantastic. I thought the music video was very aesthetic, even if I didn't understand what was going on. The cover art is really cool. And there's no choreography or styling to worry about. So yeah, I thought it was perfect.
I'm probably going to be on the low end of everyone, knowing Jacob, what he's going to give. So I split up my my album, or my music score, between single and album. So for single, I gave 2.5 points. Again, it's probably just because I was expecting more out of it. It was still enjoyable, but in retrospect, again, it probably ended up being one of the least enjoyable. And that's like saying like that's not saying much with this album, because I feel like I enjoyed everything from top to bottom. But I feel like as a single, it was kind of the weakest of the tracks in that retrospect. In contrast, I gave a perfect 3.5 to the album, because I felt like everything in terms of album tracks was amazing. Just again, as much as I've gone on about like the book ending and the transitions between the songs, just it's textbook Epic High, and they overall they never disappoint. Concept score, I'd give it 2 out of 3 of, partially just because I felt like, again, the mixing could have been better. So, like, I feel like you can get across the cool kung fu fighting scene type thing without just intermixing too much of the sound effects. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of just like, I don't know, maybe I'm just getting more used to like Epic High's weird music videos, but I mean, it's not as like groundbreaking as I don't know, even some of like the stuff that they did for I think for the Sekai no Owari collaboration, they either got like a fan to do like an animated music video or something like that. I mean, like, I feel like they've made more creative music videos than this, and I mean, I'm not complaining because it's IU, but I feel like they could have done a bit more. And also with We've Done Something Wonderful, they did multiple music. I believe they did a few music videos, or
yeah, I think they did 2 or 3.
Yeah, they did.
But that was a full album.
Yeah, that was a full album. So I mean, maybe 1 or 2 would have bumped that score up, but so that'll total out to an 8 out of 10. So,
no surprise, Jacob gave it a 10 out of 10.
Yep.
No additional wording.
Cooper's notes were: The intro immediately set the mood for the album. Really relatable lyrics. Lovedrunk didn't leave much of an impact on me, which I was hoping it would since it was a Crush feature. The MV is really beautiful, and featuring IU get it bonus points. No Different is easily my favorite track on the album. I love Yuna's voice, and the whole song has a really unique vibe to it. Rain Again Tomorrow and Lullaby for a Cat I thought were just one big song because the transition was so smooth. Really love both of these songs. Tablo's lyricism never fails to astound me. Cooper gives it a 6.5 out of 7 for music, a 2.5 out of 3 for concept, giving it a grand total of 9 out of 10. So we do the math.
Be 9, 9, 9, 10.
Yeah, so. 9, 9, 9. Oh, I give it an 8. So 9.
Yeah, so if you take one of my points, give it to you, 3 9s and a 10.
Okay, so it'll just average like
9,
what?
9.25.
Yeah, so 9.5.
9.5.
Okay, so of course this is gonna get a shiny, and definitely worthy of the our truly Daebak awards, or like actual like shinies have been more rare, but I feel like every single album that's gotten it has definitely deserved it so far. So yeah, this is gonna be there in the end of the year in terms of front runners for our various album of the year awards. So let us know what your thoughts are on Epik High's Sleepless in underscores.
Yes.
What were your favorite songs? Did you enjoy the music video? Should IU have gotten an actual feature instead of just showing up in the music video? I wish
she should have.
Yeah, she should have.
Also, Yuna, the Korean singer, should have also gotten another feature because her song, because Umbrella is amazing, and she needs more Epik High features and more recognition in general.
Let us know in the comments below.
Okay, let's move on to topic 2, which is GWSN The Park in the Night Part 2 review, which Andrew will be leading.
All right, we're going into... I've actually started calling them just Gangwon Sonyo, just because I had to learn how to freaking pronounce that for the really Daebak Award videos.
Oh yeah,
I had to go on Google Translate and just like listen to it on slow mo like a billion times. But so yeah, Gangwon Sonyo, they were a Part Girls. They were a rookie group from last year. Their breakout single, Puzzle Moon. We all enjoyed it. So let's get into our thoughts on Park in the Night Part 2, starting off with the actual single of the album entitled Pinky Star, Run. So you know how I said I enjoyed like their previous one? Oh boy, here we go. How do I explain this in this one? How do I put this in the nicest way? Pinky Star.
No.
It just feels like... It feels too derivative of Puzzle Moon, and I'd say that's probably my biggest like gripe with it. Because I mean, it's still an enjoyable song, but I'm just like, this just kind of makes me listen to Puzzle Moon instead of this. Like, even if you look at it's even in the exact same key as Puzzle Moon. Like, I feel like I feel like you could sort of get the same vibe as Puzzle Moon without having to kind of be blatant about it. And I don't know, in that way it was kind of disappointing. But I mean, that's actually like the least of my issues with the song. Well, getting our...
You mean the worst of your issues?
No, that's the least. That's like there's something.
The least. I thought you meant that was the worst.
No. There's the song itself isn't actually like the worst part or my biggest gripe. Well, one good note is Mia actually gets lines. Holy shit! Finally, like literally, if you go through like Puzzle Moon, she gets like nothing, and so she finally gets a rap verse. And I think it's
worked on her Korean a lot.
It definitely shows. And also I think it's a good idea to have her because a lot of their vocalists, it's kind of like an IZ*ONE type thing. It's almost exactly like IZ*ONE, where most, if not all of the vocalists are very high pitched, where you need someone like a Hyewon or a Mia to sort of balance out on the lower end. So it's a good idea. I think it's to their benefit if they balance or if they incorporate her more into the vocals in that sort of way. But I'd say my biggest gripe would probably be with the choreography, in all honesty, because I love the choreography for Puzzle Moon so much. Like, they're one of the few, because again, I have a lot of gripes with like girl groups, and I feel like a lot of it just like too basic for what I feel like you're capable of doing. And then Puzzle Moon isn't like anything too crazy, but the fact that most of the music video and most of like the focus was on like a lot of like hand tutting and that sort of thing, where they made that the sort of central point of choreography almost. This one, like the chorus is like the point choreography, I feel like it doesn't even compare. It feels like such a step back. Like there's a cool dance break towards the end, like where it's literally just an instrumental, but I don't know. I feel like it's the choreography that actually killed the song for me. Just I feel like you can make, if you're making like these cool like dance electronic songs, I feel like the choreography has to match to it, and in that degree, it didn't, unfortunately.
For me, I'm still on the high of part 1, and I loved it. I thought like there's a really cool like bell part throughout the song in the instrumentals that I liked, and I think they're continuing the trend. Like you said, it is very derivative, but they're continuing this trend of having like a girl group vocal song on top of like really interesting instrumentals instead of just standard girl group vocal instrumentals. It has another house drop. It has a trap verse that's like straight out of Momoland's playbook at this point, but I think it fits well. And I just think their vocals match like really well with these instrumentals, despite being how complex they are, or like, I don't know, they're not complex, but like how interesting they are, I guess is the best word. I liked the like cute talking part mixed with the house drop. And then adding, I thought it was interesting, or like, I liked it because, yeah, there's like this cute, more talking-ish, they're not really singing with the house drop, but then as it goes on, it adds more EDM, but it adds more singing. And so like the song just builds and mixes up parts really well, I thought. I thought the rap line's fantastic in the song. Like you said, Mia got lines. I thought she did really well.
Finally.
And I really like the retro style of the music video. It's very like Orange Caramel style, like weird. There's like multiple copies of them like all over the place, and they're just like doing weird things. Definitely like stood out to me in that way. But yeah, like you said, I agree that the choreo is like pretty standard, and it didn't really stand out very well. But like you said, the dance break was really good. So yeah, overall, I liked it a lot. I don't think it's better than Puzzle Moon, but I did like it a lot still.
Next up, we have Talk Talk, in parentheses, thousands of stars, thousands of dreams.
Yeah, that wasn't on the iTunes.
I know. So. Why is it supposed to be like an acronym or something? Because that'd be TAWS Todd, not Talk Talk. I don't get it.
I think the song is Talk Talk, and then in Korean it's those words.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So they just translated the Korean.
Okay,
but in iTunes they usually cut out all the Korean, so that part isn't even there.
So. I think just as a general sort of thing with this album, I feel like the album tracks are definitely the saving grace of this. I feel like Picky Star might have been the worst song on this album, because I enjoyed all of them. And one thing I do enjoy about it is because a lot of their album tracks definitely feel like they're going along the lines of groups like Red Velvet or Luna when it comes to their album tracks. So I definitely feel a lot of that on this.
100%.
Like they've got like the whole like R&B future bass thing going. Like there's even like some sexy sax, which is always good. I'd say the one tiny little thing that kind of made no sense is if you listen to the song like through its entirety, the first time they go through the chorus, they go to like the instrumental is kind of like this weird like upbeat type of thing change, which I kind of felt like it killed the momentum of it. Because afterwards they go to this awesome like future bass drop that I felt like they should have used the entire time, and they actually used that the second time around. Like when they go to the second time they go through the chorus, they literally just use that future bass thing. Because I feel like what kind of like makes it feel weird is because it kind of just that part is almost double time in a way, like where just like it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, whereas just like the rest of it's just like super chill and it kind of just picks up for no reason. I felt like they should have just stuck with one or the other, but I mean, regardless, I still love the song because I'm 100% all for girl groups doing more future bass like this, and I think that's what my attraction to GWSN is that they're all the stuff that they do on their album tracks is always weird and like unique, especially for girl groups. So that's definitely one of the saving graces when it comes to this album.
Yeah, and like you said, straight out of your words, like in my notes, the first thing I have is this reminds me of something Red Velvet would put out because it has that like velvet R&B beat.
Yeah.
That like perfectly reminded me of that. But I actually liked how it picked up during the chorus. And like became more poppy and upbeat, and then drops back to being more chill. I thought that mixed it up a little like well. And I liked the underwater feeling with like the echoey and like bubbly bell sounds and the instrumentals. So yeah, I thought it was great. Like you said, I think their album tracks stand out really well.
Yeah. Next we have Bloom. Parentheses True Light. So when I first heard this, I was like, oh crap, it's gonna be Tropical House. But then I was like, oh, it's not the generic ass Tropical House. Okay, this gets a pass from me. I think the one thing I really like about this, or two things actually. One is the second time around, or the second verse, they have this awesome like auto-tuned sort of like lo-fi type thing that effect that they add over to the vocals, like Mia gets more lines again. Also, the one reason it's another one of my like praises for the album tracks is songs like Pinky Star and Puzzle Moon, you're not going to get to like showcase vocals as much just because it's EDM. Whereas something like this, like, oh, the vocal line on this was incredible. Like they really get to show off vocals on stuff like this. So I'm kind of almost wishing that they could incorporate this more into their singles, just because there really is a lot of good vocal talent on here, and I don't want it to go to waste. As much as I love all like the EDM, like house songs, I feel like that this would be a nice change of pace to incorporate. Because again, some of this stuff is my favorite, in all honesty. So,
mirroring your like comments, I thought the vocals in the song are utterly fantastic, especially in the beginning and during the ad libs at the end. They stood out. And I love the theme throughout the album with there's a lot of like bell sounds, like very mysterious sounding in the instrumentals. Like all three of the songs so far have had them. And I like that it's keeping that there's a theme to the instrumentals, even though they're different genres. And yeah, like you said, it's not standard tropical house. It almost picks up into like a kind of a bit of a Latin style.
Yeah.
When the beat picks up. Another fantastic song.
And I do like that element of cohesion that they sort of, that's one thing that's really hard, especially for new groups, where you either fall into the trap of you just make everything like completely different, or you just make the same song 5 times. Whereas with this, they find that sort of, they find that unifying common element, that common thread throughout all of their album tracks that sort of makes it a full album in that sort of case. So that's definitely something they have over just your regular old Nugu group.
Yeah.
Next we have Miss Ping Pong. Okay, where did this come from, and how can I get more of it?
Exactly.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, because when we've said that this group kind of pulls from, like, Red Velvet, we are usually talking about, like, the R&B stuff, not, like, This is, like, stuff that they did. This is, like, Red Dress, or, like, songs like that, like, the really, like, I don't know, like, something like, even a bit like Russian Roulette, just, like, the happier, more, red side of Red Velvet and anything.
No, this is definitely Red side.
Oh, I enjoyed it. This is probably my favorite album track, in all honesty. I love it so much. Like, like, I don't know. I don't necessarily know if I want them to just straight up make an album or like a single like this, but I love how they're. Again, I'm a big one of the like my holy grails when it comes to K-pop is variety, with just within groups or just within albums like this, and I've definitely so far we've gotten it where just like each album track has just been such a different style while still maintaining like Gongwon Soyo's like their signature sort of thing, just like I guess the weirdness of it, and like something like this you wouldn't expect entirely on a Gongon Sonyo album, and I'm all for it. Just I always have like a weird ass track that you just throw in there, so.
No, yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think this is my favorite song on the album as well. It's just super upbeat and like fun instrumentals. It just gets you like pumped and bobbing your head. Like you said, yeah, it matches that red side of Red Velvet, so they're very, very inspired by them, I feel like. Also, the one thing that really stood out to me, I love how fast the lines are during the chorus. It like fits the beat and the feel of the song really well. Yeah, it's fantastic. Love it.
Also, like, normally we kind of just get annoyed when all groups kind of copy each other, but I mean, I feel like in this case, like, honestly, how many groups can you say take influence for Red Velvet? As big as a group as Red Velvet is, you don't really see all too many groups going in that route. Like, if anything, most new groups go after like a Twice or a Blackpink type thing, where where Red Velvet's kind of like built off of that niche R&B type vibe, and I'm all for more girl groups sort of going down that route, because I feel like it's definitely something that's underutilized in K-pop. Like, there's groups that dabble in it, like maybe like Luna and that sort of thing, but no one's ever really sort of made that their like stick, other than like GWSN. So
yeah.
Next up we have One and Only, which is a cover of the Luna. No, kidding. Featuring Go On. No, kidding. So this is, I mean, you do get like a Luna vibe from the song, in all honesty. So it's got that like house track vibe to it.
Yeah, that's 100%.
And I feel like I was talking about with Pinky Star, where it's entirely possible to do that type of like house vibe without necessarily copying Puzzle Moon entirely. I felt like this is like this is the personification of that, where I feel like this song could have I've made a better representation of the style than Pinky Star did, in all honesty. I would have been all in favor of making this the single, just because I felt like it's that balance that I was looking for between having like these awesome like EDM house songs while still getting to showcase their vocals. And again, they definitely get to showcase their vocals on this a lot. So that's definitely something that I feel like they should incorporate a lot more of into their singles. So this should be the blueprint, definitely, for how they sort of blend the album tracks and the singles in the future.
Yeah. No, yeah, I thought this was fantastic. This piano based like deep house with like some tropical house mix in. So obviously I'm going to love it because I love house music, especially deep and tropical house. Yeah, the song, like you said, I thought this was a good follow-up to Puzzle Moon. And I loved it. The one thing that stood out, I thought like the repetitive like ooh ooh part during the chorus, is actually like really catchy. I know a lot of times when songs do stuff like that, it can get annoying. But I thought for this song it worked really well. And closing out the album, we have Growing for Gru. What does that even mean? The name of their tree.
Gru,
they named like their tree's name is Gru.
Like Gru from friggin' like Despicable Me.
I assume it's supposed to be a pun. Like Gru, like Gru, it's growing. Guess. The tree is growing.
I don't know. I just think of the Gru.
It's spelt like that. Like Despicable Me.
We'll make a girl group that'll be super popular and super weird. All of their titles will be broken English. All of our titles will be broken English.
And we'll have a weird Bible versus like straight out of like a fantasy book.
I don't understand. But anyway, obviously I'm a sucker for anything future based, so I'm glad that they went future based instead of tropical house with a drop. I'm kind of mad that they didn't make more use of. They had like this sick guitar part in the beginning that they kind of just let go after the intro. Like you can't even hear it afterwards. I could say that they could probably maybe have written the chorus better, because it's kind of like it's literally just kind of like the da 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 da. It's kind of them just like repeating words over and over again in that case. But it's the big redeeming factor for me for this song is towards the end they make use of this awesome just like lower pitched lo-fi type thing vocal effect, because the thing is I feel like girl groups are so afraid of using that lower pitched sound effect, because most girl groups it's always higher. Like it's like, I mean, you have stuff like on the extremes like with Luna where it's literally just like a butterfly, like all the way, like super high,
where as high as possible.
Where like I feel like girl groups should make way more use of this, if anything, and it especially girl groups like Luna or whatever, or like Gangwon Sonyeon, where they're literally just making feature based. Where literally you see this in all feature based songs, especially. So I don't think that they should stray away from it just because, like female singers have naturally higher pitched voices. So that's a really like good attention to detail that I want to see them incorporate in the future.
Yeah. It's Tropical House, so I love it. I thought the rap verse in the song is insanely good. And it kind of just came out of nowhere, but I think like this and the rap in Pinky Star like stood out. And I think this group just overall has tons of talent, like everywhere. Their vocal line's really good. Like we saw it less so in this album, but with Puzzle Moon, like their choreography is really good and their dancing is really good. And then this album has songs that just show their rap line is really good too. So just overall, this group I think is really talented, and people definitely need to keep an eye out for them.
All right, now on to scores. This is probably one of the weirdest scores I've ever given, just because it's going to seem low for how much I actually ended up enjoying it, but I feel like it's the reason why I split up single and album into their own sort of things, because I feel like in context it makes more sense. So, the single rather, I gave 2 points to, just because again I felt like it was just kind of too derivative of Puzzle Moon, whereas the album I gave 3 points for, because I enjoyed pretty much all of the album tracks, and I feel like they shouldn't be afraid to incorporate more of what they use in these album tracks in the actual singles. Like I feel like the appeal of Gangwon Sonyeon isn't necessarily just deep house. Like I feel like the appeal to them is more than that. It's also this like feature bass R&B type stuff. So yeah, don't be afraid. Yeah, they shouldn't be afraid to bring that out more in the singles. Concept is where I really get critical for. So yeah, I gave the concept a 1.5 out of 3 points, just because again the choreography and the music video itself kind of just didn't like it wasn't anything too special either. Yeah, I expect more out of their, I mean, you don't have to, like, do anything super crazy, like, you don't have to, like, collaborate with, like, a super famous, like, choreographer or whatever, but I feel like, especially with the sort of, like, plan of attack that they're going with these, like, EDM, house-type songs, you gotta have a more interesting choreography than just how stationary they were with this, so hopefully we'll get something else from them in the future. Hopefully it'll have a more interesting choreography that isn't just in like one dance break that lasts for like 20 seconds. So adding that up, that's a total of 6.5 out of 10. And again, like my scores are usually a lot lower than everyone else's, so that's still a pretty good score for me. Like if I really hated something, it'd be in like the 3 or the 4 range, just like I did with like ITZY or whatever. So
how dare you? ITZY is fantastic. I literally watched every live stage of Dala Dala. I love that song. And I wasn't here to defend it. But for GWSN, I actually, like, to preface this, I think they're probably my favorite of the new girl groups right now. Like putting them up against like Nature and Cherry Bullet and like ITZY? Those groups, I think. Not ITZY isn't Nugu. They're like big 3. They've won already. Okay, you mean like actual I mean, Nugu. Yeah, like girl groups that don't have a ton of fans that are from the last couple of years that are actually Nugu. So like Nature, Cherry Bullet, what was that group that put out the song recently that sounded like Momoland? Can't remember the name. Came out last month. Can't remember their name, but
I'll look it up. I'll go keep talking.
Was it Saturday?
Saturday.
Like
Dream
those
Note.
groups, like yeah, Dream Note, exactly. I think GWSN is easily by far like my favorite of those groups.
Yeah, they're definitely the most
best
refined
music, easily. But with that being said, I didn't give it a 10, but I gave it close. I gave it a 7 out of 7 for music. I loved all the songs on the album. I don't think it's as good as the first album, but I still think it's like fantastic. But I did like the music video a lot, and I liked the dance break. But like you said, the choreography was just not as interesting as it should have been. But I was a little generous, so I gave him a 2.5 for concept. So I give it a 9.5 overall. Because really, my only negative is that the like chorus choreography is just a little too boring, like you said. But the dance break like made up for it for me, so they didn't lose out too many points. So 9.5 for me. You want to do Cooper's first?
Sure. So Cooper says, GWSN, haven't really connected with me yet, even though I love their debut and this album too. I love the music, but something about their aesthetics sits wrong with me. The MV is really well made and the choreo is really good. What the hell are you talking about, Cooper? I pretty much love every song on the album. Favorites are Pinky Star, TikTok, and Miss Ping Pong. Also, all their song titles are slightly creepy or just too long. Anyway, this is another great album. The production is on point as always. And he gave it a 9 despite saying he doesn't really connect with the group. I don't understand, but okay.
What did he drop points for? Because he liked the choreo.
6.5 out of 7 and 2.5 out of 3. So yeah, nothing was perfect. So
yeah.
What did Jacob give it?
Jacob said, once again, GWSN pleases with their style of music, which implies a very busy soundstage populated with lots of different types of sounds, such as pops, stings, claps, etc. I think that's the thing that appeals the most to me about their sound, is the type of instrumentation they use. At the moment, at least, it's very fresh for me. Overall, this album reminds me a lot of Red Velvet's The Red Era, with lots of elements that would feel familiar on an FX album. Every song is super groovy and is worth your time to listen to, in my opinion. GWSN is definitely one of the more promising rookie girl groups to keep an eye out for. Nobody else at the moment is really tackling the sound they're going for the way they do. And he gave it a 6.5 out of 7 for music and a 2 out of 3 for concept, so an 8.5 out of 10.
So doing the math and crunching all the numbers,
9.5.
It's like an 8.375 rounds up to an 8.5. That's rough. I guess that's a pretty good place to put it. So I mean, for as low as I gave the score, I feel like most of my gripe was with Pinky Star being kind of like a rehash, and mostly the choreography that kind of just makes me not enjoy the song at all. So otherwise, yeah, like their music's still like some of the most unique stuff out there. So if you're a big Red Velvet fan or a Luna fan and you're looking for more stuff that's not your standard like Twice or Blackpink type song, definitely look more into GWS, and I think there'll be something there for you. So what were your thoughts on The Park of the Night Part 2? Did you enjoy Pinky Star? Did you love the choreography? Do you think Mia should just get an entire song where it's just her singing Korean? Oh,
probably not.
Especially
because she's their rapper. So
yeah.
Singing in Korean might be pushing it a little too much.
But she does deserve more lines. But I'm pretty standard when it comes to my bias. I think my bias is An or On or however you're supposed to pronounce it.
So Young is mine, the main vocalist.
Because I love Anne's hair in Puzzle Moon. Also, like her rap lines are awesome. Also, she's like the focus of like the touring choreography a lot of the time. So, let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
On to topic 3, we have Mamamoo's mini album White Wind, which is the end of their quadrilogy of doing seasonal album things. Even though we got 2 in winter, they missed fall or spring. I don't remember. They missed one, right?
Because Yellow Flower was like yellow, because it was Yellow Flower, Red Moon, Blue is, and then White Wind. So.
Yeah, and didn't Yellow Flower come out in like March,
yeah,
February even.
I was just like, okay,
so
this is the winter
the
one.
spring one came out before the winter one in terms of months. So whatever.
RBW has no concept of seasons.
Yeah. But yeah. Okay. We'll get straight into it. The first track is Where Are You? And for me, I like the minimalist instrumentals. Per usual, if you know me, I like when songs do that. They do a lot of really cool small like solos to make it interesting, despite being only a few instruments at a time. So there's like different sections where different instruments get like small little solo parts. Vocals and rap are fantastic, like usual to Mamamoo, like it's what you'd expect. The one thing that I wish, like the one thing that bugged me with this song is the "Where Are You" part gets like a little repetitive. It takes up too much of the song, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So like the part itself is fine, but it's just used too many times.
Yeah.
And it just gets old.
I think this. Oh, where do I start with this song? Like, it just feels super safe and super boring. It's basically like It's this album's No More Drama, just like the super ridiculously safe track. And I don't know. When I listen to Mamamoo, like what I want out of Mamamoo is not necessarily safe all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like this felt like. Even the vocals kind of sound lazy to me. In all honesty, it's like, "Where are you? Yeah. Where are you? Where are you?" That's kind of the vibe I get. I know that's kind of like the going for the chill type of thing, but it literally just sounds like they don't care at this point. And oh man, this is just like an omen for like how much or how little I was going to enjoy the rest of the album.
See, most of the album I was fine with, but next we have Gogobebe, which is the title of the album, or the single of the album. And yeah, this is the other one that I was not really a big fan of. So this is just a more boring Egotistic, and I think Egotistic was one of my least favorite Mamamoo singles anyway. So it's just it didn't do anything different at all.
It didn't do anything, period.
Exactly. And then, well, not only did it not do anything, the song, like, so there's the different parts of the song. There's the triplet part, there's like the Ella part, and all the different singing and rapping parts. And all of them sound so disjointed. They don't flow into each other at all. The song, like, just, like you said, it just feels like it doesn't do anything. Only notable part of the song is Moonbyul's rap, in my opinion.
Yep.
Which is standard. Like, her raps are always fantastic. But yeah, the song itself was not good. I think the music video is decent. The styling wasn't great for a lot of their outfits, though. Like the little, like, them just having fun, like trying to go to a party and like people like trolling them and like switching the rooms around, and they go to like a nerdy room and stuff. Like, I don't know, like it was a fun Mamamoo music video, but it wasn't anything special. And the outfits were like really weird, especially Hwasa's boots.
Hey,
which
don't hate on like the freaking like
the weird paper falling apart boots.
It looks like hey, that's like freaking some like level 100 like pauldrons or like leg armor.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
yeah. And the choreo seemed good, but like the song was not great.
Oh, I mean, that's my starting point. The choreo for this was terrible, and
oh really?
I am shocked by.
There wasn't much of it in the music video, to be honest. So
and I was just like, okay, I didn't see much of it, and I watched the live stage, and they're not even doing anything. In all honesty, there's not even any choreo.
Just like the song.
There's not. I mean, it's shocking to me because this is choreographed by Minam Young, aka like my favorite choreographer from 1 Million, and I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, I guess. Like, I don't know. I feel like there are some of their live stages where they perform like funny B-sides that I feel like they put way more effort into than they did with Gogobebe. Like you mentioned, it sounds like a cheap imitation of Egotistic. I mean, I loved Egotistic, but I mean, this just sounds like it just sounds like they got like the karaoke version of the instrumental and tried to make a different.
Exactly it.
That's literally the only way to describe this song. Oh God. Yeah, it's kind of a letdown because I do enjoy the vocals in most parts of this song, but yeah, it just when the instrumental just almost doesn't exist. There's no point to like, oh, the vocals are good because it barely qualifies as a song as it is. And as much as I'm harping on like choreography, I know Mamamoo's not like freaking G-Friend type group where they're literally known for like how intense their choreography is. I feel like you can try harder. You can definitely try harder. Like even in the song that they're straight up copying, Egotistic, has way better choreography than this. Like they got the whole like this thing going. Like I learned part of the choreography, so I know how cool it is or whatever. I didn't have too many problems with the outfits. I like weird Mamamoo outfits, so. Especially, I loved Ween's outfit was probably the standout for me. I'm just a sucker for like bodysuit and like track pants and freaking bucket hat, like basically streetwear type of thing. So
yeah.
Let's get to the best song of the album now.
Next we have Waggy, and this is a cute joke song about dogs. So Mamamoo always does like joke songs, and yeah, this one's just like a really cute song, and it's about dogs. I think the beat is simple but effective. It's very upbeat and keeps the energy going. Also, them making dog sounds is adorable.
Did you watch the live stage?
And no, I didn't.
Oh my God, it's so good.
And the solo like trumpet accompaniment was fantastic too. Yeah, this was way better than the single for the previous two songs. I don't think it's my favorite song on the album, but it's definitely one of the best.
This is my favorite song. I feel like this is a better representation of who Mamamoo are as artists than Gogobebe will ever be, in all honesty. Like, this is what I think of when I think Mamamoo. Not even just, like, the nature of, like, the funny nature of the song, but even just, like, the way that they do vocals. I don't know, just, like, everything about it just screams Mamamoo to me way more than like Gogobebe did. Even the choreography for this was way better. They tried harder. Yeah. Like it's not even that intense of a choreography, but the live stage is amazing. It's literally just them wearing like kigurumi, like the pajamas, where they're dressed up as animals, like dogs and cats and everything. Like I don't know. I just enjoyed this. Like if this was a single, I'd give this album like a 10 out of 10. Like just for the balls to like put out a funny song like this as a single, and because they've done it before. They've made music videos for God, it was.
I think this will probably get a music video.
Oh, it better. If they don't, like my score could entirely change based on whether or not this gets a music video. Just because I feel like it's such an amazing song and more people need to listen to it. So. Like I take Waggy over Gogobebe like any day of the week.
Next we have 25, which is Ween's solo. So like we said, this was a quadrilogy, and each of them got their own solo on an album. And she kills it with her super smooth R&B that she excels at. I thought the instrumentals are simple but effective. I really like the tiny piano line. It's like 5 notes and it repeats a lot. But it's really catchy and it's used well, even though it repeats. So yeah, I thought this was great. Definitely the rest of the album, like from Waggy on, I enjoyed. It was mostly just those first 2 tracks that were I had issues with.
I've used this term before of like Mamamoo comfort food, and yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I'm definitely a bit lenient on them, is because I like a lot of these R&B tracks from them, just because there aren't too many girl groups capable of like the vocals that Mamamoo often delivers on their albums. So that's why, yeah, this was excellent. I love Ween's voice on this. I'd say the only thing is that these tracks just stand out way more for being good, just because I hated everything else.
Yeah,
that's the thing that I don't.
Were not great.
I can't really survive off of Mamamoo comfort food forever, though. That's the ultimate thing where even that's gonna get stale for a while. But I mean, this is great. Like it. I don't know if you necessarily like if I were to rank the solos like between like Hwasa's solo, I forget, it was like Stay something.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I'll look it up like now, but if you or later, but between Hwasa's solo, Moonbyul's, Solar's, and Wien's, I'd put this right up there with Hwasa's and with Moonbyul's. So, yeah, it's definitely one of the better solos. And yeah, I'm glad Wien's making more like R&B music as well, because her voice is just perfect for this type of thing.
Yeah. Next we have Bad Bye, and this is a group R&B song. So it's kind of continuing the last song just as a group. Vocals are outstanding as usual, and once again Moonbyul's rap stands out. The beat drop for it was fantastic, and then she killed it like usual. And I think the piano and synth lines really complement the song, because they're interesting enough, but they don't like take away the focus from the vocals.
Yeah.
So like it really, I think the mixing and the production on the song worked really well.
Yeah, again, this is more Mamamoo comfort food. Yeah, that piano line is definitely a huge standout here, and that mix of like trap and R&B on top of these great vocals. Yeah, again, it's just more of what you'd expect from a Mamamoo album. So no complaints from me here.
Next we have My Star, and this is my favorite track. This is something different from Mamamoo, and I think they did really well. I really like the sci-fi style synths at the beginning, and then the super brassy beats that drop for the chorus. It's really powerful. It sounds almost like a guy group song. Vocals and harmonies are top tier. And yeah, I just love the power and the vocal and rap showcase of this song. Like, I think this or the previous song Bad Bye should have been the single by far. This is just something that stands out because it's different and good. Like you said, this isn't their comfort food. This isn't something they do a ton of, but I thought they did it really well.
I wanted to like this song so bad.
You didn't like it?
So bad. No, this is garbage.
I like it.
There was so much potential here just because, again, it's like that super powerful, the chorus especially, this is like the super powerful like EXO, like NCT, Monsta X type of boy group song, and I'm just like, okay, I'm down for a Mamamoo that does that, but holy crap are these verses like so lazy. Like incredibly like lazily done. I mean, I could get started on my like issue with how people just utilize triplet like rapping, where it's just a fallback instead of creating anything more intricate. I don't know. Like I would have I'm trying to like separate myself from it even being the fact that it's Mamamoo. Like, even if there was a boy group that did something like this, I felt like I'd still be critical of it just because, like, it really is the verses. The verses just really let this song down because the chorus is really cool and awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
And it makes like an awesome like video or like choreography to it, but man, they just really go nowhere with the verses, so it just, that's where it falls flat for me, man. Even when they branch out, it's just, I don't know. I'm just kind of at my wit's end when it comes to Mamamoo. I don't know what the way forward is for them because they have kind of tried everything at this point, but maybe they just need a break at this point, just because they've been putting out this much music over a year is kind of, or like, it's definitely a lot.
Yeah. And finally, we have Four Season, the outro. This is just a short, quick, piano-based R&B track. I don't know, it felt kind of weird as an outro, because it's like half of a song. It's just like, it's not really an outro. It's like they started doing an R&B track, and then it just got cut short.
It's like a PV, like a Japanese.
Yeah, like, exactly. It just felt a little weird. Like, I feel like they should have just made this a full song, or had an actual outro. But yeah, they kind of had this weird in between that stuck out to me as just, I don't know, it was just a weird way to end the album.
Yeah.
It's not a bad song.
No, it's not a bad song. If anything, I feel like Four Season is way better than some of the other songs in this album. Like, why does this one get the shaft compared to like the songs that they decide to flesh out on this album? Man.
Yeah.
I feel like this whole album was just super confusing to me in general. Just like all the decisions that they made. And like in retrospect, it kind of felt like my enjoyment of each of the seasonal albums was just less and less as it went on, because I loved Yellow Flower. Red Sun was pretty good too. Blues, I had my issues with. This, I have a lot of issues with. So I don't know. They probably do need a break, because if it's that noticeable of a dip in quality, then that means they're just they don't got anything in the tank for them at this point, so they don't got to force it.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll get to ratings. So for me, I really, the only things I had issues with were the first two songs. Like Where Are You, I didn't hate, but there are definitely problems. Like I said, I think it's repetitive. And then Gogobebe, I just think was a complete miss. And then Fourth Season, the only problem I had with it was being this weird middle outro thing. I didn't really have a problem with the song. So I gave him a 5.5 for music. It might be a little generous considering how much I didn't like Gogobebe, but I really liked My Star, and the R&B tracks and Waggy. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt. But I only give him a 1.5 for concept, because like you said, like the choreo just was like, and I didn't think the styling was that great. And the music video was okay, but it was just it was a Mamamoo music video, but it wasn't like it wasn't special at all. So just a 1.5 there. So I gave it a 7 overall. Which if you know me as rating, that's like that's a bad album. But it's not, I don't think it's bad, but yeah, it's definitely not great. It's not amazing at all. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna revisit like much off of this album except Waggy.
Yeah.
Going into my scores, 1.5 for the single, and even that's being kind of generous.
Yeah, I was gonna say, using your rating, I would probably give it a 0.5 or a 1 if I had rated
that's me being generous. Like, because I do feel like just because it's that score is just like entirely riding on Mamamoo's like vocals. Like even on bad songs, their vocals are still stand out. So
yeah, exactly.
Album, I gave it 3. Literally, the album tracks are pretty much the saving grace of this. And concept, I gave a straight up 1 out of 3, because like my gripes with the choreography. I just felt there was nothing interesting about the music video. It's something that they've done kind of like before. Like they really got to do something new with their music videos. Like they can, I don't know, just at this point I don't feel the creativity of it. And so that's a total of a 5.5 out of 10, which is, I never expected to give a Mamamoo album this low of a score. And I don't know if probably all the Moomoos are going to come from my head, but I don't know. I mean, it's a group I love, so maybe that's why I'm being pretty strict on it, but I just expect
you're pulling the Umu route.
Yeah, I am pulling the Umu route, probably. It's just because I love this group. It's literally the group. Hwasa's thighs are literally the catalyst that brought truly Daebak together. So I don't know. I expect more from them because I've seen what they can do before, and I know what they're capable of as a group where their vocals are unmatched. So maybe go away from chasing the Latin vibes for a bit. Go back to see where you can take the incredible vocals that they have as a group, in what genres you can sort of explore with in that. And I think that's where they start. I think that's where they start off going forward. Just see where you can take their vocals from here.
Yeah. Jacob liked it a little bit more than us. He said, still sticking with the Latin-inspired vibe for this album, we now have the final mini-album in the quadrilogy. I think overall this was a pretty solid release where all the songs on the album are decent that I'd revisit every now and then. While this is true, I don't think this was as much evolution from the last release as I would have liked. I'm willing to forgive this due to the fact that this was part of a series, but I'm hoping for a bit more experimentation in the next comeback. Standout tracks for me include Where Are You, and especially the hard-hitting My Star, which sounded a lot like Mamamoo singing an edgy boy group song, which I really enjoyed. I thought this was a really strong release, but again, I'm hoping for more new ground to be covered in the next release. Maybe lean into the style of music used in My Star. I think that would actually be an interesting direction to take a more edgy visual style. And so he gave it a 6 out of 7 for music and a 2 out of 3 for concept, so an 8 out of 10 overall.
Cooper's thoughts were as critical as mine.
Cooper really doesn't like Mamamoo.
Damn.
He's like, I don't get it anymore. I don't get why everyone likes them.
Cooper says, quote, "Most of these tracks feel really bare-boned and low energy to me. I wasn't excited or hyped about any of these. Gogobebe just sounds like a lesser egotistic, and most of the B-sides are boring. My star is the standout, a jolt of energy at the end of the album. The MV is pretty good. Some of the outfits are questionable, but I enjoy the visuals and their touch of humor, which they always add." He gives a 4 out of 7 for music, a 2.5 out of 3 for concept, leading to a 6.5 out of 10. Now, doing all the math and crunching up the numbers, we get a score of 6.75, which rounds up to a 7.
7, which seems a little generous. But
that's very generous, I'd say.
I mean, I gave it a 7, but
yeah,
that's a 7 for me. That's like a 4 for you.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, yeah, what we said, maybe just see what new direction they can go off in. Having all 4 members be good at vocals, they're in no way limited in what kind of genres they can tackle. And if anything, maybe give them a break, in all honesty, because right now RBW is preparing another group. I know I'll get into this in Produce Cast, or if you're listening to this, I would have addressed this in Produce Cast. But RBW is working on a new girl group with like Nagaon and other trainees. So like maybe it's time to give Mamamoo a bit of a break, retool what their sound is, and give whatever this new RBW girl group is more of the spotlight. So that's just a thought for me.
They have won us, and hashtag stream Valkyrie. Valkyrie was great.
Yeah, there's
Baron.
You're at this point. RBW is no longer like maybe in 2015.
Not just Mamamoo.
Yeah, 2015-ish. It was just Mamamoo. Where at this point they're in no way starved for groups, so they don't have to rely on just Mamamoo anymore.
Romance is dead though, right? Like they just
kind of do like stuff from time to time, but
yeah. Well, I'm reading their Wikipedia page. It said, so they promoted in April last year. August 3rd, they released their 7th single, and it didn't get any music video or promotions. And then, as of January 2019, they are not scheduled to have a comeback. So,
God. Please bring Romance back. I love them too.
They're gonna focus on One Us and One We.
All right, so let us know in the comments below what your thoughts were on Mamamoo's White Winds. Did you like Gogobebe? Did you think this was one of the best? Oh God, why is this coming out of my mouth? Did you think this was one of the best of the seasonal albums?
If you do, you should go to a doctor.
Yeah, are you in complete agreement with us? Definitely let us know, especially if you're a hardcore Mumu, because I know there's a lot of you out there. So I definitely want to know what everyone's opinions are. Let us know in the comments below. So I think with that, we can just kind of take it out from here.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the end of episode 113. If you're wondering why it was only 3 topics, we're recording Produce Cast. Episode 8, 9, who knows?
9, I think.
9? I don't know.
I'll find out when I switch
recording a
over.
Produce Cast, and that'll be coming out. That will have come out before this on Monday as topic 1 of this week, as its own little thing. Just talking about upcoming groups. So check out that. And yeah, that's it for this episode. If you liked it, like, subscribe, share, join Discord, follow us on Twitter, review us on iTunes,
Spotify.
Yeah, we're on Spotify now. We're on Google Podcast, whatever that's called. I don't even know. I think it's Google Podcasts, I think is what it's called. So yeah. That's it for us.
Wait, do we have anything? Do we have anything?
I don't have anything.
I mean, I don't
have anything till Korea. So,
as you mentioned, there's like March Madness. There's
a
lot of stuff going on. Let
us
know if you
2013 to 2014 boy group rating, as well as Vic's discography rating right now. But that kind of got put on hold while we focus on the March Madness visual tournaments, which is
very heated.
I think top 8 right now.
Oh,
something like that. We're getting there.
Elite 8. Okay. So yeah, if you want to participate in any of that, again, you can reach us at our Discord, please join its Discord. Arguably the best part of this whole thing. Let us know if you have any ideas of what our panel should be, or what panel ideas we could potentially have for KCON. We'll definitely try to figure that out and get in contact as soon as possible. And if you're attending KCON, yeah, definitely maybe put in a good word for us, like tweet at people. I don't know how to use my social influence to get what I want.
We don't have social influence.
Till next time, then.
Okay.
Stay hidden.
Stay what?
Stay hidden, because we have no influence.
Throbbingly hidden.
Bye-bye.
Should have said stay sleepless.
Stay sleepless. Okay, we can go with that.
Throbbingly sleepless.
According to the Korean translation of the title, apparently it's supposed to be "One day I grew horns on my head." I shit you not. That's the actual.
What, really?
That's the translate. Your crown.
I noticed
is the English
that the Korean
title.
name was really long.
Yeah,
but I didn't bother looking into it.
Yeah, I just